Today we are going to learn about paying for college. What are some different options we have for paying for our college? Paying for college. There are many options that can help pay for college that do not require repayments. Number one is that grants are awarded from nonprofit organizations. So grants is one way to not pay for college. Another is to apply for scholarships. Scholarships are awards given for good performance, good grades. Neither grants nor scholarships require repayment. And there's also what is called a work-study program. And this is a program for providing financial aid in return for student labor. So you could work at the bookstore or the college cafe, something like that that's on campus. Let's look at this and see how Juan is going to pay for college. As we said, there are many ways to pay for college. Juan already has some money set aside, his savings to pay for college, but he needs to find additional funds to pay the cost of tuition at the school he wishes to attend. He might choose to apply for student loans, borrowed amounts, and he will have to repay, usually with interest. So number one is getting us to find out the college of his choice has an annual tuition of $13,000. If Juan attends college for 4 years, how much will he pay? Well, annual tuition, if it costs $13,000 every year, and it says that he goes for 4 years, we multiply. And we get $52,000. So it is going to cost Juan $52,000 to attend this college that he chose. Number 2 says that Juan has $15,000 in his savings account to help pay for college. If he uses the entire amount, how much more will he need to pay for 4 years of college? Well, we said in this previous problem that it costs $52,000 to attend this college for 4 years. So if he uses his entire savings, how much would he have left over? In order to solve that, we need to subtract. So $52,000 minus my savings of $15,000, I get $37,000 left over that I have to pay after I use my $15,000 savings. Scenario 3 states that Juan borrows $11,000 to help pay for college for the second year. If his annual interest rate is at 6.5%, how much interest would he owe at the end of 1 year? He does not make any payments. So he borrowed $11,000. And $11,000, this is 6.5% of $11,000. In class, when we were talking about debit and credit cards, we learned that in order to take this percentage right here, we need to convert it to a decimal. So that goes over twice to the left, which gives us 65 thousandths of 11,000. We also learned that this word of means to multiply. So we need to come over here to find the interest of $11,000. We need to multiply that times 0.065, 65 thousandths. I would like you to multiply this out, and when you have finished and gotten your answer, please press play. So when you multiply this out, after putting your decimal back into your problem, you should have gotten $715. Now that's the interest on $11,000. So let's double check our question that they're asking us. How much interest would he owe? Well, that's what I just did. So this is our final answer. This is the interest he owes on $11,000 at a rate of 6.5%. Moving along. Victor. Victor wants to attend a four-year university with an annual tuition of $14,850. He has $17,000 in savings, and on top of that, he earned a scholarship for $4,000 for each year. That each is going to become important later. So the question is, how much more does Victor need to pay for tuition for all 4 years? Well, this is a multi-step problem, so I labeled all the steps out for you until we get used to it. The first step is that we need to figure out how much money he owes for 4 years of college. If we have step 1, determine the total amount of tuition for 4 years. Each year costs $14,850. I need to multiply that times 4. Please multiply that out, and when you have finished, please press play. Okay, when you multiply this out, you should have gotten that tuition for 4 years is $59,400. But that's not all it's asking. Now we've got to figure out how much he's going to owe after he puts in his savings. See, tuition is $59,400, but he has $17,000 to put towards his tuition. So that means that I'm going to pay them $17,000, so I need to subtract the amount of savings. And when I do that, I get that after I put my $17,000 of savings towards it, I get $32,400. I said 32, I'm sorry. This should be a 4, not a 3. I'm sure some of you got that. $42,400 left to pay after savings. But that's not it either. Remember his scholarship for $4,000 each year? Well, I got to figure out how much is $4,000 for each year that I'm getting. So $4,000 for each year for 4 years is $16,000. So if I owe $42,400, but my scholarship is worth $16,000, then I subtract the amount of my scholarship. It is 0, a 0, a 4. I need to borrow a 6, and a 2. That means Victor, after his savings and his scholarship, now only owes $26,400. Not too bad, especially from starting at $59,400. So the scholarship's very important. Number 2, which I guess technically is number 3, says, explain the advantages and disadvantages of Victor using a student loan, grant, or work study for the remaining, well, we just said, $26,400. Okay, so we're just kind of looking at the differences between the options that he has. And a student loan requires repayment, and so we would have to requires repayment with interest. If he gets grants to pay for the rest of this, he does not have to repay. Because as we said earlier, grants are, you do not repay. But Victor needs to apply. So he's got to make sure he gets on that, stays on top of it, and applies for his grants early. Work study does not require repayment either. This will require Victor to work. So he does have to realize that if he does get a work study, he doesn't have to pay it back, but he does have to work. And like we said, an example, so work during school. And our example was the bookstore earlier. So he could be a cashier at the bookstore. So those are the 3 different options that Victor can look into, and they all have positives. Some of them have negatives, but those are what options Victor and yourself will have to look forward to. Number 3, or this last one about Melanie, is a lot like the one about Victor. Step by step, I would like you to do this one on your own, and we will check it tomorrow. Refer to Victor to see and make sure you are on the right path. But notice, I'm just going to point something out I saw right now, 2 years. We had Victor at 4 years. Make sure that you're paying attention to everything they're talking about for Melanie. When you have finished, you are done, and we will talk about this tomorrow.